Okay. Good morning or afternoon to our today, and welcome to the Apelan annual meeting of membership. I'm Gayla Arundel from Corning, and it is my honor to serve as the current Apelan chair for a few more minutes. I'd like to call the 2025 annual meeting of the membership to order. So for all those in attendance who have RSVP'd, you should have received a copy of today's agenda and last year's minutes. So may I have a motion to approve today's agenda as presented? And please speak up.
I'll motion to approve today's agenda.
And do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 And then any opposition or any abstentions. Okay, so that motion has been carried, which is good. So now may I have another motion to approve the minutes for the February the 8th, 2024 annual meeting as presented. And again, these are the minutes here. You should have received them, and I just need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any oppositions? Any abstentions? Okay. Right, so before we begin, I need to remind everybody, call attention to Apelan's antitrust and no solicitation policy and our legal disclaimer on the screen. So please just take a moment to review them now. Okay. So with that, it's my pleasure today to highlight the Apelan's recent work and introduce some key individuals that made it all happen in 2024. So as you may recall from last year, Apelan refined and redefined our mission as part of a comprehensive strategic planning process that we did in 2023. Apelan's mission, vision, and core values, which you now see on the screen, have served as our guide throughout 2024 and will continue to help us develop and carry out our new and ongoing initiatives this year in 2025. So again, and Apelan's membership continues to grow, and this slide shows the current membership helping to drive Apelan's mission. I will let our membership committee chair provide additional details about membership efforts in his report, and we have a little bit of a change there as to who's going to do that, but we'll have Paul Mills do that instead of the chair of who's Alan, who couldn't make it. Okay, so the board of directors, we are fortunate to have a very great leadership group which has worked together to continue the evolution of Apelan. So my fellow board members include Karen Leos from TEL Labs, Jim Connor from Nokia, Chris Brown from AECOM, Brian Hardy from IT Connect, Alan Birch from Quipsys, and Kate Limmas from Superior Essex. They have been each tireless advocates for Apelan and our mission. And I'm honored to serve on the board alongside such talented, passionate professionals. So in addition, our work on the board is carried out by our professional staff. So again, since October 2021, Apelan had retained the association expertise of the Forest Management Association Management Services. So our staff has been instrumental in helping us incorporate Apelan's best practices and carrying out the day-to-day work to ensure Apelan's success. So thank you to our Executive Director, Brianne Scott, our Administrative Coordinator, Melissa Thomas, the FAM's President, Tanya Guy, and the FAM's Vice President, Shannon Wild, for the day-to-day work they all do on behalf of Apelan. We can all clap, yay. Okay, so the work of Apolan could not happen without the work of the volunteers who make up the various committees. So I'd like to thank the following individuals who have chaired the Apolan committees. So again, the membership committee is chaired by Alan Birch. We have Matt Miller and Chad Hines, who chair and vice chair our technology committee. We have Drew Dethridge, the chair of our marketing committee. Stefan Heldens, the chair of our European committee. Emma Fernandez and Miguel Angel Ochoa, who chair and vice chair the Caribbean and Latin America committee. And Mao Peng He and Omar Amar, the chair and vice chair of our global task force. So we will hear from each of them shortly when they give their committee and task force updates. So 2024 was a busy and productive year. The year kicked off our work on the association's new strategic plan, which we developed along with the previously mentioned vision, mission, and core values. So throughout the year and in the upcoming years, we are working with these 5 goals as our roadmap. Expanding our membership base and value we give to our members, educating and supporting the optical land community, raising public awareness, ensuring our own financial stability, and building and maintaining robust operations and governance as an association. We continue to partner with other established organizations to spread the word about Apolan and optical land technology. So we now offer an AIA course credit for select events and participate in events such as BIXI conferences and ICT summits. Our incoming chair, Karen Leos, will discuss some of our most immediate objectives shortly when she provides the outlook for our plans in 2025. Apolan presented 4 webinars in 2024, including one presented in Spanish. In addition to these online events, we expanded our reach through participation in several in-person events around the world. So again, you'll hear more about these initiatives during our committee reports. And then you heard about this global task force. So we also broadened our global reach through continued association expansion into new geographies. This work is being carried out by our new global task force, which you'll hear about from Karen Leos shortly. Here are just a few of our high-level accomplishments from 2024. So now I'd like to ask our treasurer, Chris Brown, to provide a brief update on the financial health of Apolan. So with that, hand it over to Chris.
Thank you, Kayla. Good day, everybody. We had a very strong but quiet financial year. No massive unexpected expenses. We had a solid revenue year based on a continued growth in our membership, consistent maintaining our numbers of members. So as you can see, the 2024 financial report is actually quite solid with an opening balance of $62,000. On January 1st, we had a total period revenue of $130,000, which reflects some late registrations or payments from the prior year and some early registrations from 2025. So that number can be a little bit deceiving, but you'll see in the next slide that based on our budget, that number is actually quite strong. We had a 2024 budget of just under $100,000, and our total expenses totaled just under $90,000. So we had a total expense to budget of about 90%. There's a handful of reasons for that. The number one, probably most significant, being a shift in BIXI's event participation costs. So we had a change in our presence at the BIXI conferences, which may have been noticed this year. As the dust continues to settle in their changes in their program, we're looking forward to enhanced involvement in the BIXI conferences moving forward. But for 2024, that's a significant portion of our savings to budget. So again, another solid year. a growth year financially. Obviously, we'll need to turn some of that growth into expenses moving forward to take advantage of that revenue and get the most value for our members, our membership dollars. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chris. So Apolan committee chairs will now provide you with the updates on the great work they've been doing. So to begin, I will welcome Karen Leos. On behalf of Mauping, it's very late for him in Asia. So Karen has graciously accepted to give the report on the Global Task Force.
Thank you, Gayla. So I am very excited to report out on behalf of Mauping, Omar, Paul Weintraub, and Stefan related to the Global Task Force. I was able to attend one of the 4 team meeting and discussions that they had in 2024, and I'm looking forward to working with them more closely in 2025. So the meeting that I joined was quite collaborative. I had a separate session where I was able to go through some of the challenges, ideas, and suggestions with Mauping separately. They have made some formal suggestions to the board that are under review, where we have some task and committee actions that are going to be a result of those. And we'll talk about a few of those coming up in some of the looking forward slides. They have made some recommendations relative to creating more awareness for Apolan, both through different channels and media that we'll talk about on the next slide. They also had a great success with going through and translating a white paper from Apolan into Mandarin that they were able to push out and publish through Chinese medias. And Mauping also has highlighted a number of different exhibitions and channel conferences where they were able to represent Apolan. He highlights on the next slide some of the ways that they did that. So some of the suggestions and formulations that they have for other items of discussion is creating a more robust why to join Apolan, the benefits, the features, calling out an update to the matrix that we have published online to help with the adoption and expansion of Apolan. Separate from that, they also have made some formal suggestions on how we might be able to structure our memberships that we are going to go through and review that can help them to spread in the APAC region. There have been some particular challenges that they have highlighted that we believe that we can work with them to overcome. Mauping has also highlighted creation of an online knowledge hub with white papers and technical insights. When you look at some of these suggestions, you may say, well, we have these on the Apolan website. There are particular areas of the region where the Apolan website is not accessible. So they have been reviewing how they can get the word out in other mediums and other channels outside of that website. So you'll see on here that they also have some very creative ideas that Omar has brought to the table relative to publications on YouTube and other medias with video interviews of members. And you've seen some of this happening in North America, and they're looking and analyzing on how they can get greater traction from a global perspective. One of the other things that I want to highlight is Mauping has noted that they did a number of photos for exhibitions. They have been highlighting Apolan as part of any of the booths that they do. When we get into some of the future things and some of the things that the marketing team is doing, you're going to hear some good ideas that have come out of that we can all implement here in North America as well. One of the things that I think is really interesting that they are delving into, that's the third bullet here, is engaging with educational institutes to educate future professionals. There are other technologies that are maybe copper switching technologies that are integrated into everyday curriculum for students, and they're analyzing and looking at how can we do that with optical LAN technologies to make sure that students have a full perspective of the benefits and innovations in networking technologies instead of just a singular view of how you deploy a network. So these are all really great ideas that they are going through and prioritizing, working with the board and figuring out how to bring to fruition. So lots of good work there and looking forward to what 2025 looks like from this team. With that, I want to introduce Emma Fernandez from the CALA Committee Chair for her update.
Hi, how are you? I have the pleasure to represent our Caribbean and Latin America Committee. We had a very diverse committee with a representative of the companies, active, passive, both, and universities. Last year we had two members stepping down, but we had this year 2 new members, so we hope we can continue our hard work in Latin America. We have representation from Miguel Ángel Ochoa is from Intera, Pedro Lerman for Corning, Armando Sentis for Furukawa, Gustavo Moris from Nokia, Miguel Ángel Ibáñez from UTN Argentina, Wilfredo Torres for the UCAB. We have liaison from Paul Westrop and Christopher Brown. In the Latin America Committee, we have been done a few activities in 2024. The positive action that we have done here in Latin America represent some increase in our membership, and we had we did a representation of Apolan in the Big C events in Mexico and Colombia. We did a workshop there. Also an on-hand session where our team member could show the real benefits of Paul, how to design the network, how to make the installation, how easy it is to work with the fiber, and our message was very understood for the audience. Also, we did a second webinar in Spanish last year and had new members from 2 universities. And in this big C session, on hand session in Colombia, we received very positive feedback from the audience. They liked it that it was a practical event where they can touch the fiber, the splitters, the ONTs, and see the examples that we had to develop this technology. Okay, and for in the next slide you will see the webinar that we did in Spanish on September 5th. And we had the help of 2 of our members, Pedro from Corning and Juan Pablo Boray, that he retired from Apolan. And in the next slide also we show our plans for 2025. This year we will repeat our participation in the Big C CALA events. This year they have 4 editions, one in Costa Rica, in Mexico, Guatemala, and Ecuador. The first one is the next week in Costa Rica, and we will have this ICT on hand session for fundamentos de diseños de redes POL in Spanish is POL Fundamental Design. And we will have 2 of our members doing this on-hand session. Later on, we will have this on-hand session in Mexico, Guatemala, and Ecuador. And in the in our chapter, we also will have this webinars with 2 universities that are requesting us to have a webinar for their universities. This will help us to spread the word of Apple for younger audience and to have these universities as is a niche of new Apple members, okay? Also in Brazil, we had an opportunity to work with a technology magazine that wants to publish our poll white papers in Portuguese. And we will work with RTI magazine to do this in 2025. In the next session, we will have Stefan Helden from the European Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Hello, everyone. So, I'm chairing the European Committee, and here in Europe, I think it's our 3rd or 4th year that we have this committee. We obviously discuss regulatory requirements that are specific for the regions, for Europe. An example of that is, for instance, the NIS2 requirement on cybersecurity that was launched last year by the European Union. And then we can see how an optical LAN solution can contribute for that, and that these type of discussions we held in our committee meetings. Also, Europe is quite fragmented in terms of languages and countries, and there are country-specific requirements that are there. Also, these tunings or these special things we discuss in our committee, and then learn obviously also from what is happening in the various states of the European Union, and then and learn from each other and share our experiences in those countries. There's also a knowledge sharing, if you want to, or a discussion on trends, technology trends. So the impact of Wi-Fi 7 for optical LAN, also FTTR, fiber to the room, the penetration of XGS technologies, and so on, inside of the European context, and then seeing how that impacts our optical LAN evangelization, and how we can respond to these market trends. Then in terms of white papers or actual deliverables of the committee, we are working on a white paper which we call sometimes 10 things to know about optical LAN, or the demystification of optical LAN, because all of us in the European Committee have kind of seen that there is sometimes some prejudice or misinformation spread. So then we are addressing those, and then seeing how we can then bring that to market. In that sense, we also kind of planned a webinar in the future. All our webinars are or most of them are in cooperation with BICSI, but there in the middle of the year, we should be able to also package that in a webinar, and bringing our findings there to the larger stakeholders there. We also discussed on brownfield deployments. Obviously, the case of an optical LAN deployment is known in greenfield, when you're building up, when you're raising a new building, but also brownfield deployments. So refurbishment projects are obviously a candidate to consider optical LAN. So there we had kind of contributions from the members on how such engagements could look like. We do synchronize inside of the European Committee on events that we are attending, and then seeing if there is some overlap with others. A near future event, for instance, in Europe is the FTTH Council event end of March in Amsterdam. So there, optical LAN is also being put more on the forefront, or there is more and more interest from service providers. They are typically attending the FTTH councils to have an enterprise play to differentiate their proposal to the market and bring added value also for enterprises there. So that is happening as well. And then yeah, so that is finally, then the last point here is that we are continuously looking to extend the committee for the European region, and so we are constantly seeing if there are other people that we can involve in Apollon and in our European committee workings. And that's it for me.
Thanks, Stefan. Hello, everybody. Hello from the marketing committee. First, I would like to thank all of our committee members who worked really hard in 2024 and continue to work coming forward in 25. So Gayla, we couldn't do it without you. Your input's fantastic. Steve with Cortman, Sunil with Nokia, Alyssa with OCC, Paul with DIRT, Jeff with Uber Data Networks, Omar with High Tech, NoFall. Someday I'll get that down nice and smooth. Heidi with Corning, Catherine with Corning, and of course, John Michael with Cortman. So if any of you would like to participate in the most fun committee in Appleland, you just reach out and let me know. We had a good year. We had a wide variety of communications that went out that covered a wide range of topics, from the basics of PON to touching on smart buildings. And of course, in December, OLON testing recommendations. Moving on to events. Our events were limited last year. I think we kind of talked about this earlier. Our involvement at Vixie events was limited in 24 or non-existent. So our events were really focused on webinars. We had varying success on those. Some of them, while they were well produced, we're looking at ways to encourage higher attendance for our webinars as they happen in real time. We're also working on some additional stuff for AIA webinars as well for 2025. So upcoming in 2025, to that end, we are working on creating an AIA approved presentation that offers a more simplified explanation of the benefits of OLAN. And that's really focused for the AEC community. So getting architects and engineers to focus on the benefits rather than necessarily the underlying technology is kind of the goal for that. We want to continue to refine the trade show kit that Brianne has already made available on the website. So the whole point here is to create or to provide ready to print resources as you're getting ready to present at a speaking opportunity, or you're going to have a booth presenting at a trade show. These will be resources that are ready to go, and you can just print those in whatever format you need and get those done quickly. We're going to continue pursuing articles and white papers. It seems the trend now is moving away from static white papers. So we're going to be researching how to develop more engaging content like flipbooks that's become super popular over the last few months. We're also going to start a new round of global research. This was done 2 years ago, so it's time to repeat that global research. So we'll get that kicked off and completed in 2025. I also want to get even more aggressive in 2025 to aggressively cross-promote our members' activities. So if you have speaking engagements, you're going to participate in trade shows, and those things are related to the mission of Appleland, I hope you'll share those with us so that we can cross-promote those and get your company more exposure, as well as cross-promote the mission of Appleland. And lastly, I'd like to encourage members who are developing your own content around OLAN and smart buildings, if you'll share that content with us so we can look to see if we can leverage both your knowledge and your expertise, as well as cross-promote what you're doing with Appleland where it's appropriate. So we have a lot in front of us in 2025, a lot to get done. We look forward to it. With that, I'll hand it over to Paul Mills.
Hey everybody, for any of you that don't know who I am, I'm Paul Mills. I work for DIRT. I'm the former chair and board member for Appleland. Alan sends his apologies. He had a conflict today, so he couldn't give you this update. So I was volunteered to do it on his behalf. So looking at really what the membership committee is about, well, it's pretty obvious what we're about. We're there to really support the board of directors, really fulfilling the responsibility of recruiting new members, but also retaining members as well, which is obviously important. I want to give a shout out to some of the committee members, Brian, Rich, Steve, and Christoph. They do a great job. The membership committee is a challenging committee in trying to get those new members on board. So really, what have we been doing in 2024? So the first thing is we needed to have some kind of recognition program for existing members and new members. So you may have seen an email coming to you with a digital certification to say that you're a member of the Appleland organization. You can use that digital certification on LinkedIn or on your email, very much really to help promote the Appleland brand in the marketplace. It was mentioned earlier as well about membership benefits, and this is something that's been close to my heart for a number of years now, is really looking at what are the benefits to members and looking at that matrix just to see what else we can offer to support the members, not just in technical support, but also other benefits, which may include training and other things like that. Thirdly, the stakeholder engagement research. This is really where we've looked at the current breakdown of members. We have a lot of low voltage installers. We have a lot of vendors out there, manufacturers, and really we need to expand that membership mix. So we're now looking at people like consultants, A&D firms, which is architectural design firms. Really, how can we get those folks now more involved in the Appleland organization? There is a big trend now with things like smart buildings, intelligent buildings, and a lot of architects are getting involved in that. So really, we're reaching out to those organizations to see if they would want to be part of Appleland. And obviously, we're continuing our recruitment and our retention efforts. We're constantly looking at feedback we get from the website. We're looking at some of the people that have visited the booth at things like Bixby and really reaching out to those organizations. But if you have anybody you feel could benefit from the Appleland membership, and also Appleland would benefit from having them as a member, please reach out to the membership committee. We'd love to reach out to them and have a conversation with them. So in 2024, we have had some new members. BFW came on as a platinum member, so thank you very much to BFW, and Interlink came on as a bronze member. We've got 2 new gold members, being System Tech and Advanced Media Technologies. So 4 new members in 2024. We'd love to double that in 2025, and really we just need your support in making that happen. I'm going to hand it over now to Matt Miller to look at the technology committee.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, so as Paul said, my name is Matt Miller, and I head up the technology committee. I'm also one of our masterclass trainers. So our committee, I kind of think of us as the workhorse of Appleland, and that we get all the homework from all the other committees. I partially joke, but we're the ones that are creating a lot of the content and also doing a lot of webinars to get the word out there. So we have a great cast of members on our committee, as you can see here on the screen. We also have a couple new ones that I'll introduce later. But we're always looking for new members. So if you are interested in being a contributor to the committee, having some input on the things that we do, we'll talk about those in just a moment here. We'd love to have you on board. We also are always looking for presenters as well. Like I said, we do webinars and training. So if you're not so technical, but you still want to have a face out there, this could also be the committee for you in that regard. So with that, I'll tell you some more about our webinars. So in 2024, we did the testing guidance as well as the connectivity to anything, anywhere webinars. Those were kind of our new and unique webinars. So a special thanks to Anna Cruz for helping us with the testing guidance, because that wasn't just a webinar, but it was also actual guidance that we've created and incorporated into a number of our public things that we've published, including our masterclass training and documentation that we can actually publish to manufacturers. So that's a great contribution by the entire committee. We went and developed that over a number of months. So that's great content now that we have available. As well, thanks to Chad Hines for his continued work on the AIA virtual webinar. That's something that we offer AIA credits for and introduces folks to the concept of passive optical LAN. So a little bit of incentive for folks to join it to get those credits, but also getting the word out there. So the connectivity to anything, anywhere, that was in April. The AIA training was in May, and the testing guidance was in October. So you can see we try to spread those out over the course of the year. And as we go forward, we have some new ideas on new webinars, and also trying to repeat some of the content, because we know that we don't get the same folks on every webinar. So sometimes it's easier to do some of those introductory webinars over and over again to get new folks introduced to the technology. And the other piece that we do is the training at BIXI. So we have the master class that we teach at both the fall and winter sessions. And beginning last year, we taught the optical LAN implementation and use cases in addition to the fundamentals of passive optical LAN. Originally, we taught the fundamentals of passive optical LAN as either 1.5, or 2-day course. And the idea was that that's a long course, and we were restricting attendance by making it such a long course and probably limiting our attendees in that. So we were successful in breaking it into 2 pieces. So we now have the fundamentals of optical LAN, that's a 1-day course, and then we have the optical LAN implementation and use cases, which is a half-day training course. And those are offered at different times. So we're finding that we're getting different attendees in addition to some repeat attendees between those 2 classes. And that's expanding our exposure to folks at BIXI. And so the result of that master class is our digital training certificates. So this was an idea that we brought about last year to offer attendees of those classes digital certificates that they will receive at the end of the class. So it encourages engagement from the attendees because they're getting the training and the class. It also helps publish Appleland out there. So for this year, we published 41 credentials from attendees of those classes. So far, 20 have downloaded them this is just from the last winter course in 2025 here. And then you can see 11 perceived us as outstanding credential issuers, and 7 people discovered Appleland by opening those credentials. So it's working, and we now have, I think, well over 100, I think we're close to 200 folks that have now received those credentials in total. So it's been very successful. And then, like I said, we have some new members for this year. Anna Cruz, Brian Schreiber, and Dustin Spear have all joined the technology committee. But like I said, we're always looking for new members and new folks that want to contribute. So if you're technically oriented and want to be a contributor in that fashion, or you're interested in presenting on behalf of your company, we'd also love to have you join the committee. And so with that, I will hand it back to Gayla. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Matt. So up next, we have Jim Connor, our board secretary and chair of the awards task force. He will be discussing Aplans's annual awards program and, drumroll, announcing the winners for 2024. So I'll hand you over to Jim.
All right, cool. Good morning, everybody. Thanks, Gayla. So Appaland members do a lot to drive its mission and to make the contributions that we all need to be successful in the marketplace. And as an organization, we want to take the time to recognize those efforts. All Appaland members are invited to submit nomination for the Appaland Awards. Our awards program now features member awards, including education, excellence, innovation, and international, and individual awards, including the champion and contributor and legacy awards. Task forces from various committees were asked to review the submissions and determine the winners for the member and industry award recipients, while Gayla chose the contributor and legacy winners. So now I'd like to share a little bit about each of the 2024 winners. So the first award I want to talk about is the Education Award. It recognizes Appaland member companies that have implemented initiatives to contribute to the education or promotion of optical LAN and its benefits. The 2024 award goes to Nokia for raising the global awareness of the transformative power of optical LAN. Nokia has undertaken a comprehensive OLAN educational campaign, hosting 16 workshops and engaging more than 500 professionals in multiple countries. The second one I'd like to talk about is the Excellence Award. The Excellence Award is a prestigious award for Appaland member companies whose teams or individuals have demonstrated exceptional skill and dedication in integrating various aspects of an optical local area network project. It recognizes the effective coordination of different teams, efficient problem solving, and the top-notch execution of project plans that lead to the successful installation of OLAN systems. The 2024 award winner is Tellabs for its cruise ship network deployment. Tellabs delivered a high-capacity, reliable, fiber-based networking solution tailored to specifically to cruise ship environments. This project represents a significant advancement in expanding OLAN use within the cruise industry. The third one I'd like to go over is the Innovation Award. The Innovation Award recognizes Appaland member companies that have promoted innovative advancements to meet the industry challenges. The 2024 award goes to Tellabs for the FlexSim OLT2, which redefines OLAN solutions for modern enterprise environments. Its compact size allows for scalable fiber deployments in locations where traditional OLTs are impractical. And finally, I'd like to announce the Champion Award. The Champion Award is for nominated individuals who have raised awareness and increased the visibility of optical LAN and its benefits. The 2024 award goes to Maoping He, founder and chairman of BFW Solutions. Maoping has significantly advanced the awareness and acceptance of passive optical LAN technology through extensive marketing, educational, and promotional efforts. His initiatives have reached a wide audience, including influential media platforms and top universities. Now I'm going to turn it back over to Gayla to present the winners of the 2024 Chair Awards.
Okay, thank you, Jim. So this is a new thing, but Apollon's Contributor Chair Award recognizes an Apollon member who has gone above and beyond to support the association during the current year. So the 2024 award goes to Emma Fernandez from Nokia, who has demonstrated exceptional leadership as the head of the Apollon Central America and Latin America Committee. Her strategic vision, dedication, and strong communication skills, which you've heard from her already, have been pivotal in fostering collaboration among the industry experts and driving innovation. So congratulations, Emma, and thank you for all the work that you've done. The next award, also new this year, is the Contributor Award. So Apollon's Legacy Chair Award recognizes a long-term Apollon member who has excelled in leadership roles to help the association advance its strategic mission and goals and work tirelessly to accomplish key initiatives. This year's winner is Chad Hines, yay, from IT Connect. He has demonstrated exceptional leadership skills as the head of the Apollon Technology Committee and is an expert Apollon Mastercard class trainer. His unwavering commitment and expertise in optical LAN technology have driven innovation. So, congratulations to all the 2024 award winners. Apollon will issue a press release commending your achievements shortly. All of our award submissions will be shared on our website later this month to aid in our mission of accelerating the adoption of fiber optic local access networks for enterprise. Nominations for the 2025 awards are open, and I encourage you to submit early and often. Don't wait till the last minute because it ends up being a lot of work. All right. So the Apollon bylaws state that the board of directors shall consist of no less than 3 and no more than 11 directors. The number is determined by the sitting board members and is currently set at 7. Each founding member in good standing has the right to elect a director to represent their company. Founding members are currently Corning and Tellabs. The remaining seats are elected from the platinum members who are nominated and in good standing. The directors serve for 2-year staggered terms. For 2025, there are 2 board of director seats open for election. A call for nominations was sent out to the entire membership, and the vote subsequently occurred by the board. So I'm pleased to announce the following individuals have been elected to serve on the Apollon Board of Directors for the next 2 years. Chad Hines of IT Connect and Mao Ping He of BFW Solutions. In addition to these 2 directors, I will be joined by continuing board members Alan Birch, Karen Leos, Jim Connor, and Chris Brown. So congratulations to our new and returning board members. So last year we faced some exceptional transitions on the board. I want to extend my gratitude to Paul Wenthrop, who supported Apollon during the transition. Paul continued to serve as an agent of the board in a consulting capacity, providing invaluable support. So thank you, Paul. I would also like to express my appreciation for our departing board members, Kate Limmas and Brian Hardy. Kate, thank you for stepping in at the last minute and ensuring our board was complete. And Brian, thank you for your dedication over the past several years. Your leadership as board chair, treasurer, director, and chair of the technology committee has been instrumental in driving our organization forward. As one of the first few non-founding members to join the board, your contributions have been invaluable. Your steady and solid presence has guided direction of our membership, and your willingness to step in and help in crucial moments has made you a key member of Apollon. So as part of this meeting, my part of this meeting is complete, yay! I thank you again for the opportunity to serve as chair this past year, and it is my pleasure to turn the meeting over to Karen Leos, your 2025 board chair.
Thank you, Gayla. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you sit in the globe. My name is Karen Leos, if you were not on the meeting earlier, and I am honored to be your board chair for 2025. Before we move into the looking forward and summary parts of our meeting, I first wanted to acknowledge Gayla and her exemplary leadership this past year. So in the past year, we had a board chair who retired, John Hoover from Tellabs, and I checked in with him. He checks in on us as well. He's doing very well, but that left a hole. And Gayla stepped up and she covered that and just did a phenomenal job. I also am very personally appreciative of her. Gayla was very accepting of me joining in separate meetings with Brianne, has been a coach and a mentor through the past year in preparation for this year. So thank you very much, Gayla. You've done an outstanding job and we all appreciate you stepping up so much. Beyond that, I want to extend my gratitude and thanks to the entire board and Paul Weintraub. In the past year, I've had an opportunity to lean on all of you, learn from all of you, do some working sessions with Chris and Jim and Brian, and it's been a wonderful experience. And so I appreciate the transition from John to me here. So as we move into the next year, let's look at some looking ahead things. So I think it's really important for us to remember that the optical LAN dialogue is integral to today's hottest trends. The network topics, the challenges that are going on relative to security, sustainability, and scalability all tie back into optical LAN and what we are all bringing to the table. So as part of the end of 2023 leading into 2024, there was a very detailed strategic plan that there's still a lot to execute against. So part of that outlined some new stakeholders, and I heard Paul talk about this when he was giving his committee report, where we were talking about architects, engineers, consultants, expanding who we are reaching to make sure that we are educating the marketplace. And the team's done a good job of that. And we're going to be looking at how we build upon that in the next year. You heard reports from Emma and Stefan and team talking about how they are helping us worldwide to get the word out there and spread information about technologies. I love some of the things that I heard Stefan talking about relative to the service providers. Many of those service providers are expanding their business through managed services. There's opportunities for optical LAN technologies there. So we'll continue to look at how we do that, how we position professional development, training classes, build upon some of the things that we've done with training and AIA and other things that we'll talk about on the next slide to continue to grow. And then lastly, I want to highlight, we highlighted this in the last meeting too, but we want to be smart with our resources and empower our expert volunteers. So even as we were going through and planning the budget that Chris laid out for next year, we were going through questioning those things, you know, to look at how we might put things into other categories to give you an opportunity to get the word out better and make good use of your time and our resources. We appreciate what you volunteer and give to us, and we want to make sure that we're making good use of that. So some of the things that you heard today that I'll just highlight and talk about a little bit again is from the marketing side, you heard lots of good things from Drew. That media kit is so important. If you haven't taken a look at that, please go and do so. Appelan, relative to our resources, we're looking for speaking opportunities, other events to be at. But we all, as individual companies, are at many events where we can represent Appelan, and we should be proud to do that. You know, if you have a speaking opportunity, I would ask that you represent Appelan in the closing of that. Having this independent third-party association that people can come to for information lends credibility to all of our technologies and what we're doing here. So leverage and use that media kit in your booth and your speaking opportunities. I'm very excited that the marketing team has been going out and looking for other speaking opportunities for us. We have recently submitted an abstract, I understand, for USGBC, which is the Green Building Council. That gives us another way to get into that audience of the architects, engineers, and consultants who are working to create net zero architectures where our technology contributes into that. So I think that that's a really good way for us to expand. There have been some other areas where in hospitality, for example, we're looking at how do we stay involved in some of those associations and things of that nature. Lastly, one of the really important things that I heard Drew highlight was that independent third-party study. So understanding the market trends in a very objective way is very important for all of us. And every 2 years, Appeland does an independent study. A lot of that information comes up from us as member companies, but then we get a very comprehensive report that helps us to see what the trends are. It breaks that information down into growth by vertical, applications, and where we're really seeing growth around the globe to help us understand where maybe we are retracting or where we are growing in the development of our technologies, and perhaps where we need to focus more efforts to get the word out there. As we move into membership, I highlighted this a bit when I was covering Malping's area. We have to think globally because we've got a team of global members now. And so analyzing those membership levels, making sure that we've got things laid out both from the global perspective, and then also as we are trying to attract those new personas, the architects, the engineers, the consultants, or perhaps even end customers who have deployed this technology. We've got to make sure that we're taking a look at the structure of what we're putting forward, really laying out those benefits and those strategies to increase engagement. The other thing that I want to highlight is relative to some of our new members. I had a conversation even just yesterday. And so Matt and others, you'll be happy to hear that I think you have some new members coming forward to contribute to the technology team, the marketing team, and the membership team that I sent over to Brienne yesterday. So I think that that's really exciting. We want to continue to ping those folks, make sure that they know how to get involved. If you're part of this organization and you're not on one of the committees, you're really missing out. This is an opportunity really to learn from industry leaders and learn from the best, and you're going to get out of this exactly what you put into it. So I would encourage you to reach out to those committee leaders, to reach out to Brienne, or to reach out to myself so we can help you to determine what committee might be best for you. There's opportunities where you can sit in and listen. That way you can see, what is this all about? Learn from the committee, and then make a decision on if it's something that you can commit to. From the technology perspective, this team, we do lean on this team very hard. Matt wasn't kidding. It seems like every board meeting we say, let's take this back to the technology committee. There are questions that come up relative to standards where, we're looking at how do we need to influence this? There's misinformation. Can the technology team help us to correct this? But one of the things that they're doing that I think is very interesting and wonderful is they've looked at what we've done with the Bixby Masterclass and AIA, and they're looking at how can we expand that? How can we work with the marketing team to get the word out on this? How can we leverage the existing accredited courses and expand that training portfolio for education purposes, and then also as a potential revenue generator? And then finally, from the global perspective, we're taking a look at making sure that we are refining and defining those charters to support our global expansion, and that we're lending the right support to the existing efforts of the committees that spoke earlier that are just doing a fabulous job. So that's very exciting. So with that, we've got a lot of work ahead of us. I'm going to be meeting with Brienne next week so we can go through and take a look at those strategic initiatives, where we're at with each one of those. We can take that into the board meeting and continue to get further guidance. I'm going to open it up for questions, ideas, and suggestions next. You can use the Q&A box if you want to ask one of the committee chairs, myself, or someone a question, or if you have a comment. Going once, going quiet twice.
I do see a chat from Martin Chassier. So thank you, Martin, for that. And yeah, we definitely would like to continue working with you in terms of the next worldwide market research. So we'll be in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you, Martin. You've been a wonderful supporter for many years. Okay, well, with that, I want to thank you. Oh, it looks like maybe we got a question in. I spoke too soon.
it's Martin saying he's passionate about Opticalan.
So we have 25 current members. Thank you for that question. And continuing to grow. Okay, I'm going to wrap things up now if there's no more questions. I want to thank you all for your membership and for being with us today. We appreciate you so much. We look forward to the year and accomplishing greater things as we move on. One of the things that I want to remind everyone is that you are innovators. You are on the emerging side of technology. I've had an opportunity to work with so many of you. There's some other names that I saw on the attendee list that I'm less familiar with, but I look forward to working with you too. What you're doing is hard work, but I appreciate you. You know, we are on the emerging side of technology, and it's hard work. You know, it's difficult to get that word out there, educate people, and make such a difference in a large industry. But you're doing it every single day, and we're going to have a great year, and we're going to continue to grow and expand and educate this marketplace. So thank you all for your wonderful contributions. I thank you to the committees for their great reports, and congratulations to all the award winners for the Apolan Awards. So with that, we'll end our conference and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.